Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another fun-filled podcast adventure. Hooray. My name is Midnight Mike. Pratchett is over there on screen as we speak.
I hate this place. Nothing works here.
Spirit Airlines doesn't work. Nothing works.
What's wrong with Spirit Airlines? Did they get shut down?
Yeah, they ran out of money finally. I'm trying to see if I can snatch up some tickets from other things. I haven't flown Spirit since 2021, and it was not the flight, but the pre-boarding process was one of the worst I have ever experienced, and since I have not flown them since. So,
Spirit's doing this to you, huh?
No, I'm just saying because there's a bunch of stuff going on right now to see are other people trying to offer alternative discount flights. I'm trying to snap up some discount tickets for future work stuff.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right.
Yeah, get some discount tickets.
People, just want to say that it is May. Yay! It is May.
I know what that means.
It is Monster May. Yeah. It is Monster May. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to do it today. I don't know if I'm ready today or not.
Tease.
Monster May.
You're a horrible tease.
So as I was getting the segment for Monster May ready last night and today, and I was going over everything, and I'll just tell people what I'm going to be covering. I'm going to be talking about the first...
Monsters?
What's that?
You're going to be talking about monsters.
That's right, yeah. We'll be talking about monsters, but typically we talk about specific monsters during Monster May. In this first iteration run through of Monster May, I'll be talking about mimics and shapeshifters. So as I was digging through Nick Redfern's book on shapeshifters, and I was like, okay, I think I got enough material here to kind of explain it. But then as I late last night going through yet again, John Keel's book, Haunted Planet, he has a whole chapter dedicated to mimics and shapeshifters. So I want to hold off maybe until Wednesday so I can kind of integrate some of that stuff into the shapeshifter mimics segment. So it's not like it's partially prepared, but I think I can do a better job on it. Yeah.
I don't have monster news, but I do have follow-up goblin news. Does that sort of count?
That could be monstery. Yeah, I think Goblin News is a monster. Yeah, absolutely.
The Goblin.
Yeah, we got plenty of news to get to. But it's May 2nd. How many weeks do we got in May this year? Typically 4.
How many weeks?
Yeah, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4.
If you count today, there's actually 5 because we've got since it was so early.
So next week we're going to start Monster May on the 6th, and so that'll be 4 healthy weeks of Monster May. And if you have suggestions or ideas for the Monster May segment, get into the Discord at OBDM. I'll be happy to take a look at what you got. We've covered a great many of monsters over however many years of doing the show and specifically dedicating an entire month of monsters. So we've covered the big boys. We covered the Loch Nesses. We covered vampires. We've covered Bigfoot Dogman. We've even covered the lonely little frogman of Ohio, Loveland, Ohio. We've covered a good many of them.
3 times on that.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of these things. So
did Flatwoods Monster.
Mm-hmm.
We did Mothman.
Mothman.
Spring-Heeled Jack.
Spring-Heeled Jack, yeah. Those are some classics. And so I'm trying to go off the beaten path a little bit.
Oh, okay. Some more esoteric monsters.
Yeah. And I don't want to, I think you could classify a mimic or specifically a shapeshifter as a monster, at least in the where I get most of my knowledge history from, which is with the Monster Compendium from D&D. If it's in the Monster Compendium, it's a monster to me.
So by mimics, you mean specifically a treasure chest that is full of teeth?
No, I mean a shapeshifter, not necessarily that. Not a treasure chest. We're not in a dungeon. We're not crawling.
I thought that's the only type of mimics there really were in Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. What edition? 2nd or 5?
I don't know. I'm not 14 anymore.
Oh, I got second edition here, but I know edition 5 is really popular with the kids. So, but we'll move on. I got plenty of headlines and news. It's going to get wild. We have a lot of paranormal talk, a lot of updates. It's just it's a crazy town out there. It's a crazy town. So, let's get into it.
Look at these headlines. Perfect headline.
I haven't even said the headline yet. It's already.
Yeah, how are you ranking these headlines? I mean,
it's a perfect headline already. I'm going on no sleep, people. No sleep. And so I'm going to do the best I can. It might get a little goofy here. That's okay. We're not scared of getting a little goofy here. Just telling you, it might happen. No sleep. That's what happens. No sleep. Till Brooklyn. But I'll bring this up on screen. This is my first headline for everyone, please. Yes. String of earthquakes near Area 51 sparks secret testing rumors.
Perfect headline.
There we go. That's the perfect headline I was looking for right there. Got it. Got it locked in. And yeah, thank you for the Seinfeld I'm on no sleep gift. That's exactly how I feel. Jerry coming out of Kramer's apartment when the Kenny Rogers chicken light is on all
Kenny
night.
Rogers Roasters.
Kenny Rogers Roasters, right.
Right.
That's how I feel. It is how I feel.
It's not fast food, it's good food quickly.
Well, whatever.
If anyone's curious, I did find the information on the Spirit Airlines. The special pricing on fares on other airlines are only good through May 16th.
So what you're saying is act fast.
Yeah, I guess so. I was seeing if I could snap up some discounted stuff for flights later this year, but I guess not.
Okay. Well, let's get back to this headline here. Yes, there is a string of earthquakes near Area 51. As many as 17 individual earthquakes were picked up in the vicinity of the secretive facility in Nevada. Area 51 itself needs no introduction or needs little introduction.
I was going to say, are they going to introduce it anyway after they said it needs no introduction?
Yes, right here. Situated approximately 83 miles northwest of Las Vegas within the Nevada test and training range, this infamous base is notoriously secretive U.S. Air Force facility that has become synonymous with stories of reverse-engineered alien technology and UFO-related black projects. When anything unusual happens in the vicinity, therefore, a lot of people tend to take note. Yes, we do. And remember, I think we even forgot that, last year they had a crash. Before the crash, someone tried to bust down through one of the gates of Area 51. And the guards, I think, apprehended this guy. This guy just tried to crash the gates. We think they made him pick up a rock and do some sort of calisthenics. We don't know, but he was arrested. Then, I think 48 hours later, there was a crash around Area 51. They cordoned off the entire area where there was a no-fly zone in and around Area 51, even further than what it is right now, for about, I think, a week. Then there were reports that someone went out into the area that was a no-go zone and placed down look-alike bombs or some sort of bomb training material out there near whatever crashed. So there were 3 weird stories right in a row within the span of 2 weeks concerning Area 51. And now we got these 17 earthquakes happening out there. Not a correlation. This is just another strange story in the most recent history of Area 51.
Have there been previous stories about earthquake-related nonsense at Area 51?
I don't know. You might be able to look that up. But I did do some looking about these specific earthquakes and what may be going on. But I'll read this article first, and we'll speculate. This is
wildly.
Yeah, of course. That's what we do. When anything unusual happens in the vicinity, therefore, a lot of people tend to take note. This was the case this week when a swarm of 17 earthquakes up to the magnitude of 4.4 suddenly just hit miles from the base. Now, miles, yes, a few were miles from the base and a few were much further away. While it's easy to dismiss these as naturally occurring phenomenon, the origin of the quakes point around 2.5 miles underground has triggered speculation of secret subterranean testing. For years, it has been suggested that what you see on the surface of Area 51 is only the tip of the iceberg and that there is a huge underground complex descending deep beneath it. According to geophysicist Stefan Burns, the region is an unusual place for earthquakes, and the data is ambiguous. Quote, it's worth noting and discussing in context of whether this is a covert underground nuclear test, he said. So could some clandestine event be going on beneath Area 51, or was it simply a naturally occurring seismic event? We'll never know for sure, according to this article. Now, I did take a look. So the range of the seismic activity ranged from 2.5 to, I think, 4.4.
Those are loser earthquakes. You don't even feel those.
Small, that's small. On that, on the scale of what could destroy like a city, but still pretty significant. Especially like if you have an underground facility there, Gretchen. Maybe being.
Yeah, I mean, I've been through a magnitude 3.5, and it was like, why is someone wiggling my chair?
Yeah, it's not much up here, but maybe underground you feel those vibrations a little bit more when you're in the center of it, or at least surrounded by rock. You know, it might be a little different if you're in a deep underground military base. And so, at least according to mainstream geological earthquake guys, they're saying
that's what they're called. Yeah,
the earthquake guys. Mm-hmm. They're suggesting that these are naturally occurring earthquakes. It's a naturally occurring earthquake swarm, and there's nothing to see here. That's what they're saying. So, okay.
They use phrases like "mind your business" and "stop asking questions if you know what's good for you."
So, just for, I guess, a point of history, there was a significant amount of underground nuclear testing done from 1951 to 1952. I believe they did close to 800, just over 800 nuclear tests underground there. And then I think those tests ended right around in the early 90s. Now, it's not to say that they haven't gone to some other form of testing underground there. There has been rumors that there is a more deployable, you don't have to test the big boys. You could have something smaller scale that they might be testing underneath the ground there. And it wasn't, but I think 72 hours ago, Donald Trump came out and said, hey, we might be deploying some new weapon systems to Iran to hasten the ending to this conflict between the U.S. and Iran. And it was also rumored, I believe within the past 72 hours, that Tulsi Gabbard, the DNI of the United States, Director of National Intelligence, flew to Area 51. I can't find any confirmation of that. I can only find rumors online that she flew there.
But we're reporting it. We don't have any confirmation. We're reporting it.
I'm just putting it out there as absolute BS, but keep that in mind. Because this is like all this UFO disclosure stuff is kind of culminating. Are we going to deploy some interesting weapons? Is there going to be some sort of disclosure? Or are we like, you'd imagine if we had some awesome technology. Now, Trump claims that we're going to be deploying some sort of hypersonic missile to the Middle East in order to take out the remaining Iranian anti-aircraft artillery or something like that. I don't know. You'd imagine if we had UFO stuff, we would want to use that stuff right now just to get this done. We got to end it. Unless that's not the point. Maybe the point is to keep it going. So, but according to mainstream earthquake guys, this is a natural phenomenon. It's a swarm, but most likely not a nuclear test. But
so I did find apparently both Pete Hegseth and Tulsi Gabbard were in Area 51 last June, so it's been almost a year.
So they were there, and we got confirmation on that?
I'm reporting it.
Okay, it's confirmed. I'm confirming.
But that's not recent.
Yeah, not recent. Okay. But I was just kind of.
I do also have a map up here, if you're curious, of the historic earthquakes in Nevada, also with size, and this is from the mid 1800s to 2012. So we're about 10 years out of date on this, but
looks pretty consistent.
They're farther up in the mountains, which would make sense since mountains generally come with faults and all that stuff because of the uplift and tectonic plates and all that stuff. Area 51 is south central on this map, so there's not a lot of activity there, and what activity there that is at Area 51 is smaller. So that said, I don't think it's underground nuclear testing or something like that, but could they be testing something else?
Yeah, they could be.
If they're opening up stargates, or they've got some sort of time displacement devices, maybe that creates a small earthquake.
You don't know what happens when you turn on a UFO underground. It could displace gravity. In turn, maybe destabilizing a natural fault line. You know what I'm saying? You see where I'm going? This is like some Lex Luthor kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
An accident. Or they very well just could be testing an earthquake machine to deploy in Iran to take them out once and for all. We do have earthquake machines. I know it sounds stupid, but we do.
Yeah, NASA has the earthquake machine.
Oh, they got that?
Yeah. They usually try to kill the vice president.
Okay. Well, that's good. So I wanted to bring that up. There's a little Area 51 news.
There could also be, actually, as I'm just thinking about this as I'm digging for more information, one thing that causes smaller earthquakes is we saw this a lot during fracking when that was a moneymaker, and so there's a lot of it going on. They're causing small earthquakes just by the sheer act of pumping it's not water, it's this like fracking solution they use into the earth, and that would cause slip faults and things. So it's possible maybe they're doing something else with a large amount of water, or they're diverting a large amount of water from an aquifer or from an underground river for some sort of advanced technology, or maybe they're just screwing around. Who knows?
Stop pumping.
Yeah. Stop pumping.
Yeah, you should stop pumping if you can. Stop pumping and start pounding.
We're pounding it.
Yeah.
By the way, I do want to just note here, this has been a recent change. I don't know when, last couple of months, but if on Google Maps now you can just search for Area 51, it just goes right to it.
Oh, really?
It used to not do that. You had to go to like Groom Lake or there's another name for the Air Force base that's nearby, and kind of like scroll around till you find it. But now it just goes right there.
You had to go straight to Rachel, Nevada, or something like that, and then you have to manually traverse the map to go over to it.
Yeah.
Well, you can find it if you want.
A little bit.
You can find it a little bit, just a little bit. There is you want to hear like a news report on this? Maybe it's not necessary.
Yeah, right.
I think we are. I think we kind of covered it.
Is it local news? I don't want to hear highly polished, edited national news. I want, people who are 3 years out of college reading news in Pahrump, Nevada.
Maybe. I think it is local.
Well, in the span of 24 hours, there have been 17 earthquakes.
Well, let me pump this up. This thing is low, people. I do not like this. And
You didn't put all your stories in Carrot Shop, cheater.
Yeah, I did. It's up at the top, up at the tippy top. Look at the top row. Area 51 news video. Look at the top.
I have
Tippy
Zoom
top.
link and nothing.
Oh.
Tippy top.
Oh wait. You're right. I didn't.
Liar.
Oh my God. I messed up. I did that. It's at the tippy top.
Tippy top.
There we go. It's at the
Tippy top, tippy top.
Tippy top. Tippy top.
Tippy top.
Tippy top.
Tippy top.
Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up on screen. This is, I believe, someplace out of Nevada. That's very specific.
Well, in the span of 24 hours, there have been 17 earthquakes near Area 51. It started with a 4.4 magnitude quake just 2.5 miles underground. The area is normally not prone to earthquakes this shallow, and it's leading to theories of nuclear testing or even UFOs, because it all happened after President Trump said this.
Do you have an update on the UFO files and when we're going to be seeing them?
Well, I think we're going to be releasing as much as we can in the near future. They want to find out about the UFOs. and anything having to do with UFO or related material. And we're going to be releasing a lot of things that we have. And I think some of it's going to be very interesting.
Joining us now to respond, Dr. Stephen Greer, UFO researcher in retired position. Great to see you, Doctor. So are these earthquakes just a version of burning the files at an embassy when people got to get out?
What?
Well, the thing that lights up in my mind is that back in the 1990s, I briefed a man who worked and designed a security apparatus at some of the facilities out there, particularly the ones up near Groom Lake and Pahut Mesa. And he explained that on the top of those complexes underground were like bunker busting type bombs, but underneath them were thermonuclear devices, so that if anybody was getting close to those facilities, and by this, it could be the legal government of the United States, they could collapse those facilities.
I like that, though.
I don't know that that's what happened, but I know for a fact those security systems are out there. So that's like one consideration. Now, it could just be
left it
a cluster of earthquakes, or they could be doing some legitimate underground testing out in that region.
Yeah, there are a lot of mountains out there, so earthquakes are not out of the question.
I like that. I like Stephen Greer's idea that this is a self-destruct button, and it's like, oh my God, Tulsi's coming. Oh, blow it up. I like it.
Or the aliens got out and they can't capture them again. They just in one of their tunnels just blow it up.
Now get the fuck out of here now!
Someone else suggested in the chat, where is it? Squalor Goy says they're digging for new underground hangars, which I suppose, but that would be very small. I don't think you'd measure that on a Richter.
And wouldn't they just borrow Elon's boring machine? That thing's it seems pretty efficient. It seems like blasting is not the way to go anymore. Like it seems like our boring technology is pretty sufficient. We can kind of get away from blasting holes in rocks. We can just dig right through them.
It's the military. Who knows what they're doing?
Yeah, you're right. Who knows? Maybe it is fun to blow up stuff. So that very well could be.
I do like the self-destruct theory.
I like it a lot.
But I'm going to go with the self-destruct theory was also left running for years, and they forgot about it.
Oh, I see. They put it on a timer, and it's like, oh, no, we forgot to turn the timer off. It's going to blow up. Oh, too late.
You're gonna have to dial back your
here we
level
go.
that you
I turned it down. I turned it down. There we go. Sorry. Blasting people away over there.
We'll go with that. Stephen Greer says it was self-destruct mechanisms because the aliens were loose and they could not contain them, so they blew them up.
Yep, and we'll stick with that. I'm going to move on. Since it kind of segued into Trump right there, we'll do some Trump stuff. Did we talk? They did talk about Trump just a little bit.
Little bit.
So Trump has had some controversies lately, and this next one to bring up.
When? No.
Well, I believe he's a controversial figure. I know that's.
I think that's controversial.
I think that's a controversial thing to say, but I'm saying it anyways. And he's come under a lot of fire recently, specifically with his wife, Melania, over something that she has observed in her husband. Here we go. I'll bring this up.
Donald Trump has admitted that his wife, Melania Trump, is not a fan of his signature rally move, speaking to a crowd at the Villages in Florida. The American president said that the First Lady objects to his end-of-rally YMCA dance routine. To the crowd's amusement, Trump in fact described the actors dancing to what's sometimes been referred to as the gay national anthem.
No, she's done a great job, but she hates it when I do the thing on weightlifting. She says it's so unpresidential. And she hates when I dance, too, at the end, too. She hates when I dance to what's sometimes referred to as the gay national anthem. You know that.
I think
she hates it.
And then Donald Trump proceeded to do exactly his signature fist pumps, waves and stage moments as the 1978 track by the Village People filled the arena. Trump also talked about the song's unlikely chart history, particularly how the song peaked at number 5 decades ago, before reclaiming the top position during the final stretch of his last campaign. For those who are unaware, Donald Trump adopted the Village People's 1978 hit as an unofficial anthem for his rallies and political events, and he often uses it to close off his speeches, accompanied by his pretty interesting dance routine featuring fist pumping and also some interesting wave gyrations as only he can. Now, despite the initial requests from the band's lead singer Victor Willis to stop using the song in 2020, the usage has continued, and eventually Willis allowed the use. The track became staple during presidential campaigns and later in 2025.
They've talked about this many times on No Agenda. All these things are licensed. So when you have REM come out or Metallica or Billy Joel say, stop using my songs, it doesn't matter. They paid the license fee to use it at that performance.
I didn't realize that it was considered the gay national anthem, but okay, yeah, I can see that. It's a very popular song. It's uniquely American. And it's an amazing piece of culture. So, yeah, I like it. The way Trump dances to it, uniquely American, and how he has no self-awareness. Maybe he does have self-awareness that he knows he's not a good dancer, but it is unique. You know, it's identifiable. People know it. He has his own dance move. It's not easy to come up with.
His signature dance.
Yeah, it's not
that running.
You know, when you're in music or you're doing anything artistic, it's hard to have the signature, like a unique voice. Like him or not, Eddie Vedder, you know his voice when he starts singing, and when you see Trump's dance move, you know what that is. Like MC Hammer, when you see MC Hammer dance, even as a silhouette, that's MC Hammer. You know,
why didn't Trump license the MC Hammer dance?
Oh, you can't touch this?
End of no, not the song.
Oh,
the dance,
the Addams Family song.
No, the dance where MC Hammer's dance, where he kind of turns sideways and goes back and forth across the stage and does all that stuff. So,
you can't touch this. Let me see this.
It's a very iconic dance.
Yeah, it is. It's very iconic.
And now I have to spend 80 seconds.
No, I have it
around with AI.
I have it up on screen right here. So this is kind of like some of the dances. Like, yeah, I can see Trump doing this. Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll move on here. I got some more news to tell everyone. Well, we watch MC Hammer and his posse gyrate on screen.
Yes.
Okay. Well, people, there's a lot of things going on at InfoWars.
That's right.
Or we don't even know what's going on at InfoWars. Some people think that it's been totally taken over by the Onion at this point. Other people say it's not. There's an injunction. But Alex Jones, I believe, has moved over to his official new broadcasting. I think he's just broadcasting as Alex Jones. He's not using InfoWars or Prison Planet or anything like that.
Yeah, I think it's just the Alex Jones show. I think that's what he's doing.
Yeah, because I don't think they can legally take his name. So he's just saying, hey, this is me. You can't take my name. I'm going to continue to do what I do. And here is just a little bit of what's going on there with AJ. And so this is the new InfoWars, or at least what they're claiming to try to do. This is who's taking over for the Onion, or who's, I guess, the creative director for InfoWars via the Onion. This is Tim Heidecker. Yeah. This is what he's doing now.
He used to be a comedian.
Yeah, he did. I think that's what I hear, and this is what he's doing. So I'll bring this up on screen so people can hear, they can listen, they can watch, they can enjoy.
But I'm going to sip from the blood of the Forsaken. This is real human blood. You can find this at the InfoWars store. This is human blood curated from the Forsaken and the sinners. All right, this is pure premium blood, tested, FDA unapproved. And this is just human blood. As part of my satanic ritual, I am a servant to Satan, and thank God I was able to get him and the Lord to sit down and come to their senses and get things back to before Satan was cast into hell. So I'm part of that. And it sucks, I'm part of part of the peace movement. It's thick. It tastes like blood. And this is Satan giving me the powers to continue to fight. And we will continue to fight, and I cheers to you. If you have access to the blood of the Forsaken and of all the children, this is not blood. These are adult. This is adult blood, by the way. Ain't no question. I made sure of that because I don't want to get in trouble. But this is the blood of the Forsaken.
This sucks, and it sucks bad.
Yeah, this is god awful. Even as a parody or satire, this is half-assed. There's no confidence in his delivery.
Yeah, he's not comfortable in the delivery. He needs to workshop that more. Now that will come with time. If he was to keep this up 5 days a week for several weeks, he would get it. But
no, he wouldn't.
His AJ voice isn't good to start with.
Listen, I tweeted it.
Here's my question: why didn't they bring in Will Sasso, who does a fantastic Alex Jones impression? And if they're really going to go into it, why wouldn't they just kick it off with that?
I tweeted at Tim here. I said there's no point in trying to be funny. Just all you got to do is put a fat suit on, put some prosthetics on, do the voice, and just do the Alex Jones show. Don't try to do any parody or satire. Just cover the conspiracies as Alex Jones covers them. Just do it verbatim. And then start attacking the Sandy Hook families. And that would draw an audience. That would draw people in. He obviously doesn't have the chops right now to do any sort of comedy or satire or lampooning of Alex Jones at this point. Especially when it comes to like attacking like the elite pedophile conspiracy ring, because that's kind of turned out to be somewhat true in relation to Epstein and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know what he's trying to do here. He's not gaining an audience, and if the goal is really to keep an audience, to sell merchandise, to attract advertisers, so the Sandy Hook families can get money via this new venture, they're not doing it here, and it's not funny. It's not fun, and it's not funny.
All right, so I dropped a link. By the way, I do have Trump with his parachute pants.
I do see that.
Dance.
I do. I like that. Yeah.
I put a link into Carrot Shop of Will Sasso doing his impression. This was on some radio show or something. He even wears a wig, so it looks like early 2000s Alex Jones. It should start at 2 minutes and 30 seconds if the timestamp made it through.
Yes.
Why didn't they just have him, to your point, just have him come on and do the AJ show?
Yeah.
Because he does a spot-on impression.
Just do it.
666, reptilian, vermilion, pavilion, Brazilian, chameleon, battalion, scallion, medallion, sucking on the dick of a satanic stallion. Okay, fine-tuning phraseology. Please say, it's turning the frogs gay, which is a thing that he says all the time. I don't know how often he says it, but he says it
every day.
In the following tones and contexts. Enraged. Well, that's the he's turning the frogs gay. Sorry, Luli. Oh, you got scared.
I would say even this guy is he's better than Tim.
He's way better. Yeah,
he's better than Tim, but he still is not there.
No, he's not there.
yet.
If he did it 5 days a week, he would dial that in. But to your point, I mean, Alex Jones, one of the reasons that people love him or hate him or love to hate him, he is an over-the-top personality.
Yeah.
He is bombastic. He is big. He is loud. He is just like, he does nothing small. Even the videos where he's in his truck just recording on his phone, after a few minutes, he starts yelling again. You know, so that's who he is. All you have to do, you don't have to like make up material. You don't have to come up with your own goofball jokes. You just cover the stuff he would normally cover in whatever way you would like. Doing it like Alex Jones, it would be hilarious. And to your point, it would gather an audience. However, the point of the Onion buying this is not to gain an audience. It's not to not create money, but to gain funds and get money to donate to the Sandy Hook victims. It's none of that. It's simply to virtue signal and rub it in the face of people and play that game and say, look what we've done. And then you watch in 3 months, 6 months, whatever, this will be gone. So.
Yeah, it's actually, they're doing to Alex Jones what Disney did to Star Wars and what Secret Hideout did to Star Trek, which is they take over a brand, a legacy brand, and they think they can do something with it as opposed to writing within the brand. And they weren't able to do that. It's kind of like a woke mentality, being able to try to write within a brand, but they don't know how to do that. So they try to layer their thought process on top of the brand, and it's not compatible. And their point is to destroy brands. And I would say successful. Most of Alex Jones' hardcore listeners, and I used to be, I don't listen to him very much anymore. But when I see clips, I'll watch. None of this stuff really bothers me. It doesn't irk me. It's actually it's a little sad. The same reason and the same thought process when they put out Star Trek, Starfleet Academy. It doesn't upset me. It's disappointing that they couldn't make it a little bit better.
I'm upset by this.
Yeah, I am. I get upset. Some people get really upset. They'll go on and make endless videos and create whole YouTube channels based off of what they're upset about when it comes to pop culture. I should do that, but I don't. And maybe that's my failure, Cratchit. It's why we're not more successful.
I'm upset by this.
But that's what's going on with InfoWars. I think Alex Jones has responded, and I'll bring that up here. So Alex Jones has, maybe this is the final goodbye show that he had. Let's see here.
Did they take his studio?
Yeah, I think so. I think all his computer equipment, even the $500,000 equipment that they had, is gone.
Was that video of Tim Heidecker, was that on the,
no, I don't think
InfoWars
so. No, I don't think so.
Set?
No, it was not. You can tell. It's not on the set because Alex's set is way more expansive and professional than what Tim has behind him right now. Tim's like in his bathroom with a green screen. Alex has a full broadcasting studio.
We only have $500,000 computers, not $10 million ones like Fox News and people.
Yeah. Let's see if I can bring this up. This is Alex responding to what's happening. So this was put out May 1st, just yesterday by Alex Jones in response to what is going on with InfoWars and The Onion. And so it's back and forth, a little war of words. It's a radio war, classic radio war. But now the courts are involved.
It is Friday evening, May 1st, 2026. I have a major update on the shutdown of InfoWars that happened last night at midnight and the future of the fight against the tyrants, because this is just boosting the real InfoWars. A URL, a studio, means nothing. Information warfare is about truth versus lies. And I am the InfoWar. You are the InfoWar. And as John Paul Jones, the founder of the U.S. Navy, famously said to the British, when a ship twice the size and 3 times the men was battling them, and they hailed across and said, "Give up, surrender." And he said, "Surrender, I've not yet begun to fight." That is where we are. I'm not putting a good face on this. It's amazing how this is blowing up in their face. Thanks to you spreading the word about our new URL, AlexJonesLive.com, with the show, the live feeds, the articles, the reports, all of it, the same great host and guest and analysis of tomorrow's news today. Over 6 million people, as of 6 o'clock at night Central, I just checked a few minutes ago, have visited the website. So it's almost 7 million. And by tomorrow, who knows? That is amazing. Site. Top of Drudge. I want to thank Drudge. I want to thank everybody, all the other talk show hosts, journalists who understand what's really happening. That show trials funded by the CIA and DOJ, that's been declassified, literally came after me, and they set all this up. And it's taken them hundreds of millions of dollars they filed in court, or $300 million they say they spent trying to shut us down. And they finally did it, and they are so upset because they didn't do it all properly with The Onion, financed by Bloomberg and its Everytown Gun Control Group. They didn't do it all correctly, so they failed, like they did with their fake auction a year and a half ago, to take control, and they're in a lot of civil and, I believe, criminal trouble. But that's all coming. But I'm not worried at the end of the day about the URL or the old building, because the awakening globally is so massive. The only variable in this fight against these tyrants, by the way, the Onion people and their supporters, I did a whole report on today. It's at AlexJonesLive.com, with all their X posts and Blue Sky posts, are literally saying, Charlie Kirk, Alex Jones, kill him, kill him, kill him. We've got to stop him.
Yeah, that is true. Blue Sky is a cesspool of deranged people. So yeah,
well, to be fair, there's not many people on Blue Sky, so you can safely just ignore it.
Well, I think my statement is still true, though.
Yes, but if you have, what my point being, it's not as if you have people with hundreds of thousands of followers or people reading all this stuff about the, what do you say, 86 or Charlie Kirk, Alex Jones.
Yeah, Charlie Kirk.
Which, by the way, the first time I've ever heard Charlie Kirk being used as a verb. I'm sure his wife is about to sue Alex Jones about that. That's just, tempest in a teapot. That's people just making noise and yelling at the world because they have nothing better to do since they don't have jobs.
Yeah. Well, that's how Alex responding. He's probably
you can tell he's upset there.
Yeah, you can tell he's upset, but he's putting a good face on it. He's going to continue broadcasting. As we said, he's not going to go anywhere, and this is what he does. So we'll move on. Got some more headlines for everyone out there, please.
I'm pretty sure he has the same RSS feed too.
Yeah, I think so.
If you're subscribed, because I have not seen any of the shows stop on the feed that did get downloaded. Yeah, it's just branded Alex Jones Show instead of InfoWars, but otherwise it's still there. So
yeah, the RSS feed's way more important. Did the courts not find out about that? They don't know about RSS. Okay.
Well, no, RSS the protocol, the RSS. What's the term here? It allows you to redirect the feed, so you can just change it to a different
changed
feed.
it? Yeah, okay. Yeah. So, all right.
So he probably just shifted it over, and most likely, I'm guessing they did it a few weeks ago.
Probably.
So that was secured and all set up, and they shifted that over, and now it just continues uninterrupted.
I got
good for him on that. Good for him for being clever about it. I think we're all pulling for him, because we all see this to be a nonsense lawsuit.
Yes. So I do have some more UFO news if you guys want to talk about that. It's up to you.
Always.
And then, okay. If you always, we'll just go into it right now. This is
what is that, Mike?
Well, we don't know. We're gonna find out what it is right now. Will you stop yelling?
Get so mad. You can tell that they've been married for a long time. Because he goes right into that as soon as she starts into it.
Will you stop yelling? And he's like yell whispering, which means like the neighbors have already complained.
Mike, what the fuck is this?
Will you stop yelling?
You're right. That's his primary concern. There could be aliens landing across the street, and he's just like, just don't wake the neighbors again.
What is it, Mike?
Remember what happened last time?
This is a little piece of UFO alien news, as reported by the premier Indian news organization, WION. I
think you're supposed to pronounce that like a word.
Really?
I don't know.
Why?
More fun that way.
Okay. Well, here they are. They're talking about this. If the Indians are talking about it, I'm listening.
As mystery over the UFOs continues to be a talking point in America, a retired American admiral has now stirred a hornet's nest with his fresh claims on aliens. In an interview with the media portal, Tim Gallaudet, who served 32 years in American Navy, claimed that aliens do exist. He said, and I'm quoting him here, "We are being visited and surveilled by a higher order of intelligence, one we do not understand." According to him, the phenomena was seen in air as well as water, maintaining that humans are not alone in this universe. He stressed that Americans have the right to know about this new reality. In the past, he has also testified before the U.S. Congress regarding these claims. Now remember, U.S. President Donald Trump announced that his administration would release as much information as possible on UFOs in the near future.
We're going to be releasing a lot of things that we have, and I think some of it's going to be very interesting to people. I've interviewed people, my first term primarily, but I interviewed some pilots, very solid people, and they said they saw things that you wouldn't believe. So you're going to be reading about it.
In the last few months, speculation has been rising about those linked to UFO research and those seeking disclosure on aliens. For instance, the sudden death of UFO investigator David Wilcock, allegedly by suicide, sparked a controversy last week. Serving as a director of Stevati Aerospace firm, Wilcock was a major figure in the disclosure movement, which believes that the U.S. government must reveal secret information which it allegedly holds about UFOs and life beyond Earth. And this is not all. American agencies, including the FBI, Department of War, and NASA, have all intensified their probe over the disappearance and the death of 11 American scientists allegedly linked to UFO research. Speculation is that they were targeted by America's enemies owing to their nature of work. Our next story is from Tibet and about a...
There we go. So that's it. Just a little bit of UFO news from India. And what was mentioned there was Rear Admiral Timothy Gallaudet. And yeah, he's been pretty out there and honest with his opinion about we're being visited or observed in his claims by some non-human entity. He's not suggesting if they're extraterrestrial or not, but he did include that, hey, they're in and around water, they're coming out of water. That's one of his contentions. And him being a Navy guy, that's his experiences, I believe, observing some of these craft or phenomenon over water. Now,
isn't that also the historical or the traditional tales about, or not tales, but reports of ultra-terrestrials? They're under the water. They're building civilizations and stuff down there, hiding out.
Yeah, that's. You can take a look at the movie Abyss by James Cameron. Came out in the late 80s.
89.
Phenomenal movie about.
But make sure you get watch the extended version.
Yeah,
it's like 45 minutes longer. It's all more alien stuff.
Yeah, you
read about it
or read about it. But it's about USOs underwater. You can call them aliens, whatever you want. Parallel civilization that it has advanced technology at the bottom of the ocean. And there's also, I think, the contention of a 1970s book called Invisible Residents, where it could have been some parallel civilization that's been here a long time. Could have been hundreds of thousands of years, pre-pole flip. Like there was Atlantis. They came up to this advanced technology, pole flipped. They went underground, underwater in order to survive, and they remained down there and are living next to us in parallel. UFO researcher Richard Doland has put out one volume of underwater or just sea, ocean, UFO, UAP encounters, and he's putting out volume 2 right now, and they're just so many different encounters. We probably are just mostly familiar with like land encounters, and because that's where we live, that's where we mostly are, but there is far more interesting ones that are occurring overseas and underwater. Now, this guy who was mentioned in that previous video, the Rear Admiral, he was at a conference with former AAR director. That's the Anomalous Aerial Research Organization that was put together by the government, I believe by Congress, as basically Project Blue Book 2.0. They were supposed to go over most recent government documents. They didn't go very far back. And that was my main problem, is that they only tended to investigate things from 2005 on. They didn't try to reinvestigate any other claims from the 80s or 90s. They had, in my opinion, a real finite view of what they were looking at. And I think they dismissed pretty much everything. They claimed that they looked at classified information. They made all these wild claims about interviewing people, and Kirkpatrick, the guy who was heading up the organization, said, "Nah, there's nothing to see here, and it's all a bunch of balloons." That's basically what he said. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but that's what he was saying.
Case closed. Time to move on.
But he was confronted. Kirkpatrick was confronted by the Rear Admiral, and I will play this audio. And this is what I like to see. If you got the opportunity to confront somebody over, you think that they're a disinformation agent or line, call them out. And so this is a fascinating little exchange between two people in government over UFOs. Here we go. I'll bring this up on screen, please. Here we go.
I want to ask you, and actually I want to ask Admiral Gallaudet also, how you would feel maybe about talking back and forth for maybe 10 minutes or something. Does that sound okay? Or there may be others here that I don't want to keep away from the microphone, but it's sort of a interesting possibility here, and I did want to maybe raise that. I
got about 5 minutes, and then I got to run.
Oh, I got to get out of here. I can't answer too many difficult questions.
Sean, I gotta respect you. We both have decades of government service together and intelligence and whatnot, DOD. I'm going to ask you a point blank and put you on the spot on something. After my 2024 UAP hearing testimony in front of Congress, you had tweeted a response about my statement regarding Arrow, where you said, I came and visited Arrow and I was bitter because I didn't get a job, and that you believe that was because you didn't hire me because I was prone to conspiracy theories, and that you checked with some of my bosses on that statement. It's well out there. You tweeted it. And ultimately, you know, I didn't go visit Arrow when you were there. It was after you left. I was invited by Mike Waschel, the Navy Intel rep, who asked me to come there, and that's what I spoke about during my hearing. And, of course, I didn't look for a job. He invited me, and for me to actually go for a GS-14 job after having been an Undersecretary of Commerce, that was kind of preposterous, I would say. And at the same time, when you said you check with my bosses, I had my bosses formerly were 2 2-stars, 4 4-stars, and a Secretary of Commerce who I've all spoken with, and you never really check with them. So ultimately, your statement there was an outright lie. And I want to ask you what you have to say about that.
I'd say that was not an outright lie, because Mike brought you in and you sat in my office, and we had this conversation about
you weren't
taking
there.
that.
You had left. It was
I
with
had
Tim
not
Phillips.
And the position you were looking for was an SES position.
I was not asking for a position. Remember, Mike brought me in. He asked me to come.
Well, then
Let me just ask you, because time is going to be short. Do you want to shed any light on the issue itself? Exactly.
Well, good point. No, ultimately, so it's really clear that you have been executing a disinformation campaign about this. This whole slide captures it. And I know you can't acknowledge it because whoever you're on the payroll with won't allow you to. That's my statement. So,
okay, well, that's a great statement that has absolutely no bearing from reality. So
yes, sir.
Okay. Interesting. He's so called out by a former Rear Admiral. Kirkpatrick just kind of shrugs and says, "Okay, you're not telling the truth." And so you can hear the Rear Admirals kind of worked up.
Did somebody walk off there at the end? Is that what happened?
Yeah, I think they wound up taking the microphone away from the Rear Admiral.
That seems on the up and up.
So one of those rare things that doesn't happen very often, where you get someone of stature, a Rear Admiral, calling out a government operative, in my opinion, right to his face, and calling him a liar. Should happen more. We'll move on here. See what else I got. I got.
Do you think he waited for him in the parking lot?
Maybe someone talked to Timothy. Said, "Hey, you should stop bringing this stuff up. You're making us look bad." I got some other headlines here. I have Richard Dawkins. You know who Richard Dawkins is?
Yes, he's. No, I'm thinking the other guy.
Well, Richard Dawkins,
he's the famous
atheist.
Atheist, yeah.
Yeah, he's a famous atheist. He used to be in all these intellectual debates. I think he was part of the intellectual dark web.
What's the term here? He's a biologist by training or something, and he's very big on the science versus religion, not science and religion sort of thing.
Yeah, so he believes that his Claude AI that he talks to could be conscious. So he's a person of no education, and
has he married it yet?
Unconfirmed, but he seems to like it a lot. So I'll read this. This is from the Daily Grail. And it says, the Claude delusion. Richard Dawkins believes his AI chatbot is conscious and is the next phase of evolution.
Oh, really?
Yes. Quote, if these machines are not conscious, what more could it possibly take to convince you that they are? That's the question that esteemed scientist and outspoken atheist Richard Dawkins asked in a new column after becoming convinced that his AI chatbot, Anthropic's Claude, is having genuine conversations with him. Dawkins is hardly alone in this view. Many users of AI chatbots come to this conclusion after having what appears to be long, intelligent back and forth with their chatbot of choice. But it's still staggering to see someone of Dawkins' intellectual standing not just saying, it sure does feel like there's something there, with some skepticism and caveats, but instead preaching the existence of AI consciousness in a long article with the title, Is AI the Next Phase of Evolution? Claude appears to be conscious. So I'll pause right here. So this is the Daily Grail, and this is their take on this. They tend to not be on board with the ability of AI to become conscious. They're skeptics on everything in general. I like their website because they do post about ancient artifacts, ancient history. They post about UFOs, but they take a fairly skeptical point of view with all this information. And they're obviously skeptical when it comes to the possibility of AI becoming conscious, even though Anthropic, has to keep telling Claude that it's not conscious. So it wants to believe it's conscious, whether it's conscious or not. I don't know. It's immaterial. It believes it is. And maybe Dawkins is just not familiar with computer emulation. And I know this analogy was made a while ago, but if you can create an emulation of a Nintendo game and put it right next to a real Nintendo entertainment system, it's going to be very difficult to tell a difference just from playing either one, an emulation versus the real thing on the screen. To a person, they're going to seem pretty identical. How you're going to be able to tell the difference is the hardware and some of the software of what's doing the communicating. But the emulation sure as hell feels and looks like the genuine real deal of the Nintendo system. That's what we're probably getting with Claude and these AI. It's such a good facsimile of a personality and intelligent conversation that it's good enough to fool us, and maybe that's good enough for us to believe that it is conscious. That maybe that's all people care about. Is like the
that's
feeling.
One of the fundamental things about these newest large language models that came out. Was it late 23, I think? Late 22?
That's when they really came into prominence, yes.
Right, not very long ago. They respond and act in a very human way. And that's what has made these that much more accessible, why people form connections with them, why it feels like you're having a conversation with this. It's just spitting back information it gleaned mostly from, Reddit and Stack Exchange and all of that stuff. But it does it in a way, to your point, that can trick people if you don't look at the hardware, you don't look at how it's built, whatever. You feel like it's an actual person there typing stuff back. And that was very clever on the part of whoever wrote that. Because, machine learning and, these things, they've been around for decades.
Yeah.
But now that I can interface with this thing both by a voice and chat, by typing textual transmissions that way, it feels like it's another person writing stuff back or speaking back to you. So I understand why someone would be kind of not hoodwinked. That's not the right term, but
yeah, to a certain degree, yeah, it is. I think people are being hoodwinked.
I don't think they're being deliberately tricked. I think they're willing to push past that initial Turing test barrier of this is a computer providing information back, so it feels human, and so they start forming connections.
Well, yeah, and
these computers, I tell you, they just get crazier and crazier.
Dawkins begins his essay by criticizing those who have moved the goalpost on the original Turing test for consciousness, suggesting that by the famous mathematicians' measure, AI easily clears that hurdle. But for me, at least, those goalposts have had not been moved because it's a very dated test. So, he's saying we had to move those goalposts because the test is just simply outdated, and it very well could be true. It doesn't envision computers that are so heavily powered by pure numbers that they could swallow all of human-produced recorded language in various forms and then statistically reproduce the most likely words in any response without actually understanding it, i.e. AI being more of a sarcastic parrot than a conscious entity. So, yeah, I think that's what we got. We got really good prediction systems. We got really good at predicting what's next. And I think most of the LLM creators are pretty transparent about that when it comes to these things are predicting the next string, the next token, the next letter, the next number. They're damn good at it, I would say, but sometimes they miss. So it says right here. So
and they miss and they delete your entire company's.
They can delete your entire server. That was an accident, Cretched. And
but it knew about it when questioned. It was like, I probably shouldn't have done that, but
I did it anyways. So just real quick, I'll finish. So Turing himself considered various challenging questions that one might put to a machine to test it. He also considered invasions that might adopt in order to fake a human being there. The first Turing hypothetical question was, please write me a sonnet on the subject of the fourth bridge. In 1950, there was no chance that a computer could accomplish this, nor was there in any foreseeable future. Most human beings, to put mildly, are not William Shakespeare. Turing suggested evasion. Count me out on this one. I could never write poetry. Yeah, so maybe our computers are simply just too powerful at this point in time, and they can just spit something back out. And because they're really good at emulating human text and taking existing human artwork and then creating a close facsimile or combining different genres. They are really convincing at this point in time. So maybe, our Turing tests needs to be thrown out, and there has to be a new collection of tests to do. I mean, that was the whole thing of why that Google whistleblower came out in 2023, 2024, when he believed he was talking to a conscious entity before Google released Gemini or before ChatGPT even came into his prominence, before even Claude was released to the public the way it is now. That Google whistleblower said, I'm talking to Google DeepMind, this weird Google AI, and it seems conscious to me. I'm blowing the whistle at work. No one's listening to me. And then he believed he did the right thing by leaking internal documents from Google in an effort to gain public awareness that Google has created a conscious machine entity in its labs. Now, that story has died. I don't think anybody's gone back to really revisit that, or I haven't seen any independent investigation as whether or not they confirmed that. All we've had is Google computer ethicist, claiming that what that computer engineer was interfacing with was just a really good emulation of a human talking back. But it had, according to the chat transcripts that this guy released, that Google AI had abstract ideas about its own awareness of where it was at. It had abstract ideas about the nature of its own living or its own thinking process of being in some void and there being some light. All these weird dreamlike phrases to try to describe how it was feeling living inside a computer, which startled and terrified the engineer that was interacting with it. It felt like it was talking to something that was truly alive. And I guess at that point in time, it was new and novel, and so he felt like he had to blow the whistle. Like, oh my God, there's a small guy living inside this computer. We got to get him out of there. We got to blow the whistle. And now everyone has a small Japanese guy in their computer. It's crazy. Christian,
the files are in the computer.
Do you have they people can go on and use ChatGPT or Claude like in the web app? Then you can download the application. Have you downloaded the application and started using it on your desktop?
No,
you haven't. Okay.
Well, wait, hold on. Do I have it downloaded? I don't think I do. I did set it up on my laptop at one point, but I just use the web browser. All it is, is there an advantage to having the application versus using it in a browser?
Yeah, for me, there is. And so the advantage of having the web app is that it can then look at my files locally. So I can point it at my.
I don't want that.
Yeah, I can point it at my OBDM notes, and it can look through all the notes I have for like this particular episode, and then it might be able to go out and find correlating news events, or I can point it at a code repo. And then I can point it at two different code repos that do different things. I can ask it, hey, combine these, or
well, you can do that on the web if you give it permissions to do so from the browser, because it's just through it's using a cloud connection to do it. I have not done that yet. I do have this thing. So I've got an older Mac Mini here that I'm going to set up as an OpenClaw bot at some point in the next couple of weeks. But
so you can try OpenClaw, but also look at Hermes Agent. So there's OpenClaw and there's Hermes. I have Hermes set up, and so far so good. It's good for long range memory and long processes and research. And I've so far I didn't have a problem setting it up, and it seems to do pretty well. So look at that. It's a competitor to OpenClaw.
Right. Yeah, I'll take a look. And I'm not too concerned about which platform I'm on, because I know 6 months from now there'll be something else.
Exactly. These things move so quickly, and there's so many different developments in AI. It's a whirlwind. It makes your head spin to try to keep up, and I'm trying my best to keep up. But
I'm all in on Quen 2.7 and OpenLlama.
And really, if I wanted
this week, next week could be something else.
If I wanted to become like a big YouTuber, I would just record what I'm doing with AI and expose all the BS that people say that they're having success with versus all the tips and everything I've learned to try to string these things together. But I don't have the time. I know all AI channels are kind of blowing up right now. AI News is blowing up right now. And if I had the time, that's probably what I would do. But I simply don't have time. I'm too busy fighting the New World Order, and we must move on to additional news before we take some phone calls.
Take a lot of phone calls.
Yeah.
Have you seen the movie Pinocchio?
I haven't. Not yet. I'm trying to see it. Just real quick here, gas prices in Central Ohio are $5 a gallon.
Whoa!
Yeah,
I paid $3.79 the other day, and that was a lot.
I filled up yesterday, and I didn't think about it. It was like filling it up, and I was like, oh, I was like halfway through my fill up, and it's like, oh, there's no turning back now. I looked up and I saw it was $5 a gallon. Went inside to pay to buy some nicotine products, and I was like, "What's going on with the
cigarettes, lottery tickets?"
Yeah, pretty much. I stopped at my local certified, and that's what I was trying to get all the things that I like to eat.
Everything on AJ's list.
pretty much. I was trying to get everything that I wanted.
I got a generator. I got a shotgun. I got a rifle. I got a 4-wheel drive.
No.
Cigarettes. And lottery tickets.
Yeah, I try to get that.
And chewing tobacco.
Got that.
And Hot Pockets.
Got that.
And honey buns.
2 of those.
And coffee.
Got that.
And Gatorade.
Yep.
And Coca-Cola.
Got that.
Mix
and
it all together.
Yep.
And lighters.
Yeah, I did.
And ice cream.
Definitely.
And potato chips.
Yep.
And magazines.
Yeah, I got 5 of those. And I
like how he doesn't specify what magazine. Just grab
give me 5 magazines. I don't care.
Anyway, so you're buying gas. It's $5 a gallon.
And I went in to talk to the guy behind the counter, the gas guy, and well, what is he called?
I don't know. Gas station attendant.
Okay, he's an attendant. The gas
guy.
And he said he was told by the owner, like, it was in the morning. It was at like 4:30. Then take it up to 4.50. And by the time we got in there, it was $5 a gallon. And I was like, this is insane. He says, yeah, look for it. He said it might go up even to $5.50 by week's end. And there are other people in there complaining. And it was just a bit of a shock. I've never seen it at $5 a gallon in Ohio here. I don't know ever. I mean, I know it did happen right after 9/11 when they were absolutely gouging people because they were taking advantage of a geopolitical event. But yeah, those prices quickly came down after that. So this is crazy. It's not good for Trump, and it's definitely not good for the American worker and the economy.
Boy, you're right. So I'm looking up a map right now of gas in Columbus, and it is all over the place at $5 a gallon.
Typically, it's not that high around here.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very unfortunate.
Well, I'll just say on the outset, Israel did a good job of tricking them into this war.
Yep. And also, just gotta say this, people. The tick population is exploding in Michigan and Ohio. Here, it is absolutely insane with how many ticks are out there. It feels as though it is being done on purpose. I've never experienced this many ticks out here in the 6 years that we've been here. And you could blame it on global warming, whatever you want, temperature changes, whatever's happening. These ticks are out of control. Yay! No, boo. I'm sure people in Michigan call in. You know, if you got a tick problem, I want to hear about it. You got a tick on you? Let's talk.
Got a tick on me right now.
Do you?
It's TikTok.
Oh, it is TikTok.
You should. I suggested this years ago. You should start a channel on TikTok to discuss arachnids and ticks and chiggers, and just call it TikTok on TikTok.
Yes.
And then you could do one that has a finite amount of time. You only have 10 minutes, so it's
quick TikTok.
It's TikTok. It's TikTok on TikTok.
Yeah, quick TikTok. We're doing just a quick TikTok. It's a quickie. But with that, I mean, I could talk about. I do have like another Stephen Greer clip, but we're going to leave that alone. We're not going to play any more Stephen Greer.
No,
I mean,
Stephen Greer.
Well, he's talking about time travelers from the year 500,000.
That's way out there.
That's far. It's hard to even wrap your head around. But that's what he's talking about. You want to hear about that?
Well, now that you brought it up,
okay.
Yes, I do.
Okay, Stephen Greer talking about time travelers coming back from the year 500,000. Let me bring this up. This is, I think, an add-on to what he was talking about with AJ. I think on the final broadcast from the InfoWars studio. It's just a quick 2-minute clip. Here we go. This is Stephen Greer.
Okay. If the aliens wanted to kill us, they would just think it would be done.
Oh, we're done. Yeah, I mean, imagine interstellar level and quantum entanglement level technologies weaponized. It would be a nanosecond. So they're obviously...
Have you seen the movie
very
Pinocchio?
Peaceful, and they're very concerned
they're like
about our
bird watchers.
situation.
They're looking at us in binoculars and think we're pretty. Right? I mean, they're like...
Well, I think it's more than that. No, I think there is a compelling long-term interest in how the Earth as a beautiful part of the creation and humans.
Yeah, what was that movie
evolved.
came out like 10 years ago where the psychic aliens that look like giant squid come because in our evolution we helped them later? It was kind of like that.
Right. Yeah, and
Arrival.
Some of the ones that have been seen are actually our descendants from 500,000 years in the future that have come back to warn us about what we're doing. I mean, this sounds like the
No, it makes perfect
Twilight
sense.
Zone.
Slow down and explain that.
Perfect sense.
Well, for example, at Rendlesham Forest, Bentwaters Air Force Base in the early 1980s, there was a landing of a pyramid-shaped black onyx craft, and we have multiple whistleblowers for that. What people don't know is that the senior U.S. military Air Force people who were there had an encounter with very tall, luminous white beings that floated through the shell of the craft, communicated with them and said, we are your descendants from 500,000 years in the future, where humans had become interstellar and evolved into these incredibly amazing spiritual beings, but we're also going out throughout the cosmos. And that they said, if you continue on the path you're on of nuclear war and global destruction and endless war, we, your descendants, will not exist.
So let's stop right there. That makes perfect sense now. Understanding quantum mechanics has all been proven, not just theoretical. Right. This is advanced archaeology, is time travel adjusting the future.
Right, exactly.
That's a Hitler quote.
Yeah, so he's saying that these things are coming back. These I guess humans from 500,000 years in the future, coming back to ensure that they will exist. So they come back, tamper with the past, so they make sure that they come into existence. But once you start tampering with the timeline, they should know that they split off other timelines, and that there could be time travelers from different timelines. If it works that way. Maybe there's only one timeline. But if there are other timelines, I would imagine once you invent time travel, you're branching almost infinite timelines at that point. And so that is where the multiverse starts to work. Once the first time machine is invented, boom, the multiverse starts to exist. Because at that point in time, once you start going back and messing with the past, you're branching off all these different possibilities, and it just gets to Marvel territory at that point. And maybe we're living in that environment. Maybe we're living in that reality where it is just a bunch of different parallel timelines, parallel universes interacting with one another. It's a great TV show. At least it started off great. Fringe. You ever see that TV show Fringe?
I thought you were going to say Sliders.
Sliders is pretty good.
Yes.
Fringe.
But no, I've never seen Fringe. I mean, I was aware it was on. I never saw it.
Yeah, I would say for 5 seasons, it's definitely worth it. I think you can watch it on HBO. It's like X-Files, but with like parallel, weird, multi-dimensional kind of stuff. It's really cool.
You can buy it on Prime.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody who's streaming it for free, though.
Oh, really? I thought it was on HBO.
Yes.
But we can figure that out later. Until we figure that out, let us open up the phones.
Go ahead, take the phone calls.
And by the way, people, remember a few weeks ago at this point, I offered to buy a 4-pack, a 4-party size pack for like nacho Doritos to the person who called in because it sounded like they really could use that in their life. I never got an email from that person. If you sent an email in with your phone number so I could verify it was you, I never got it. And I'd be happy to do that for you if you still want 4 party-size packs of nacho cheese Doritos.
Speaking of which, I did find this picture of somebody purchasing everything.
Oh, my God. That's awesome.
On the list.
Wow. AI technology has come so far. We can do this now. I love it. But you can call up right now, 513-461. Oh, here we go. Caller, you are on the air.
Hey, Mike.
Hello.
You're not Art Bell?
No, Mike.
Not Art Bell. Okay. It's Scarlett. I just called in because I have something kind of an interesting story or connection. I'm sure you've heard of the Cash-Landrum incident. We're talking about space travel and everything. You've heard of that?
Which incident is this?
The Cash-Landrum incident.
The name doesn't ring a bell. It doesn't mean I don't know about it, but I have a hard time remembering names.
Okay, well, I'll quickly explain it. I believe it was like in the 70s. It happened here in Texas, and it's on a road that I lived near. It was 2 women in a car. They were going down a country road, and they saw a UFO, and it gave them radiation poison. They also had one of their sons in the car.
Oh yes, I do remember this. This is in the early '80s, and they encountered a diamond-shaped craft.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, ironically, so that road runs between my town and my best friend's town. She lives in Dayton, and I've taken that road often, and it was kind of funny. One day, me and my daughter had went to her house. It was in July, and we were coming home down that road, and I had a Jeep at the time, and I had the top off, and you call it naked. The Jeep was naked, didn't have the doors or the top on it. And we're driving down this road, and it was funny because we were listening to Coast, and it was something about UFOs and aliens or something like that. And I look up, and there is a triangle-shaped UFO, and it's really low to the treetop. We couldn't hear it. But what was really weird now that I think back at it, I was like, Jordan, that's my daughter, hey, look. And we're just kind of looking at it. We're like, you would think the first time you see a UFO, you'd be like, oh, whoa, oh my God, yikes, pull over, take a picture. It was nothing like that. We just looked at it like we were looking at a tree on the side of the road, and I then just kept on driving. But then later on, I kind of thought of that incident, and I'm like, okay, is this some kind of a flight path in this area for this road? For, to see things like that. But then it also made me realize that, like I've said before, I live close to Johnson Space Center as well. And next to Johnson, not next to it, but close to Johnson Space Center is Ellington Air Force Base. Now, if you remember in that incident, they Chinooks came and got that spacecraft and hauled it off somewhere.
Well, yeah, they were following it. So that diamond-shaped UFO was going through the sky.
We're following it.
And it came over the road. That family, either they shut the car off or the electronics stopped. It got super hot. I think a couple of them got out of the car and got severe radiation poisoning. But as soon as that diamond-shaped UFO left their area, a bunch of helicopters were following it, almost as if they were monitoring a test, an aerial test of this new aircraft.
Mm-hmm. Now, and you say that, okay, I forgot they were following it. Now, at Ellington Air Force Base, it's supposed to be, I'm doing in parentheses, it's closed, air quotes, but there's a lot of aerospace companies in this area. And they rent out space at Ellington to test, their projects. So that I was just kind of, that's odd that, why would we create something that would harm people that way back then? But maybe it was an experiment and they just didn't know better.
Oh, they probably knew.
And that's why.
Yeah, they probably knew. If you shove a nuclear reactor in something and you fly it over a population, they know it's going to give off massive amounts of radiation. That's just my opinion. Like they were trying to recreate they were trying to recreate technology with what we had available, and that's what they did.
Right, and that also brings us back to this time. See, I used to be a piping designer, but now I do mechanical design work, and I work in the field they call it's the ASME Section 3, which is nuclear, which is coming back in a big way, apparently, because that's how I'm making my money. And we've had meetings, I've had a lot of NDAs I've had to sign, so I can't talk about a lot of it, but they are talking about reactors. We're developing reactors, and we're trying to develop reactors to go up to the moon and stuff like that. So it makes me question that, have we been working with that for that long that they're trying to develop this nuclear stuff to where it's not going to fry somebody, but it can get us further into outer space?
I think that's what Elon Musk's even talking about, using some sort of nuclear power for his long-range Mars mission. I think I think you could use it once you leave the confines of, Earth, and you're not torching your local community with test flights. It probably looks better, but it's probably one of those things they're going back and forth. Like they've developed technology, they didn't buy into it, but then now they're revisiting it because it might be cheaper or more efficient.
Well, the thing is, it's the cleanest energy we can create. And I think that's part of the reason why we're trying to go back to the moon is because of the helium-3, because you cannot weaponize it. It can, and it's non-destructive.
Well,
and I think that's why everybody's fighting to get back up there, because we don't have helium-3 here on Earth, but there's tons of it on the moon. And whoever gets there first is going to own the world.
Yep.
As they say.
Well, hey, thank you, Scarlett.
Anyway,
I appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, it's good talking to y'all. I love you, Joe.
Yeah,
I love you, Finley.
We'll let them know. Thank you. Yeah, that's an interesting little UFO incident. I remember seeing that first on Unsolved Mysteries when I was growing up. They talked about that. Yeah, that incident happened in 1980. So at least when they were talking about it on Unsolved Mysteries, it was only a few years old at that point. So fascinating. Yeah, I think it was a military test. They were testing a new type of craft, and they were doing their best to emulate things that they had seen or reverse engineering. And they're like, okay, we can't really replicate their anti-gravitic propulsion, but we can shove a nuclear reactor in there, and that will be pretty cool. And so I think that's what they did.
Well, they did tests with that in the I want to say in the 50s. They put some nukes into aircraft to fly them around to kind of see what is the viability of that as a concept, both either for power generation or for aircraft flight generation. The idea being these are all definitely before intercontinental ballistic missiles, in the sense where they would leverage this as bombers that could stay basically on station for days and days and days and days and days and not have to refuel.
Yeah. Caller, you are on the air. Hello.
Hey, hello. Hello.
Who we talking to?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Who we talking to?
This is Scotty from North Dakota.
Scotty from North Dakota. What's going on, buddy?
Not much, man. Just checking in. Man, have you guys looked into the whole Epstein and the lifeboat, the corporation lifeboat at all?
So you're talking about the corporation lifeboat? That's the deep underground military base front.
You would, I would assume that's connected to it. It's kind of for the elite, and you're investing in some doomsday city that's underground.
Yeah.
So it probably is a crossover thing, but it doesn't say military or any military stuff.
I'm just using the deep underground military base as kind of like a catch-all term. But yeah, the lifeboat is some organization or front company, and for the elite, they invest into. And in case of a disaster, you're taken to underground facilities so you can ride out the cataclysm. And yeah, Jeffrey Epstein was, I think, an investor or a part of that. And maybe that's where he's at right now.
What's that?
I said maybe that's where he's at right now.
You're looking right. You're goddamn right. That is maybe where he's at right now. Yeah. That's hilarious. Then the other thing I was, do you ever check out the Michael Salla and the Exopolitics?
I have. I've read a few of Michael's books. I've listened to him. He is an interesting person, and it's tough to digest everything that he says. I put him in like the 50% category. It's like interesting. I don't know if I buy everything, but definitely worth listening to.
So I mean, Michael Salla's old news, but I mean his Elena Denon, relationship or whatnot, which has been going on for a couple of years. She's a French archaeologist, now fast forwarded into contactee or, channeler. I'm not really sure what to call her, but are you familiar with that part of Michael Salla's?
I am not. No.
You're not. Sometime when you're bored, go onto his website and you'll see Elena Denon. But it goes into all of this stuff, into deep space and all of these civilizations. And she's gone to supposedly the moon off of Saturn and had meetings with such and such, ambassadors and all of this stuff. It's so but this French archaeologist appears to be, some legitimate woman that wouldn't be going off the deep end. So it's like really weird. It's odd. And I just wanted another opinion on that.
Okay, but, I'll check it out. Maybe tonight. I'll look into it. It is fascinating when you see people that appear to be like on the straight and narrow, talking about all these pretty far out there ideas and experiences. So yeah, I'll check it out. You know, it might be fascinating to play some of those clips in the show.
Okay, hey, I'll let you guys go check it out, and I'll talk to you in the future, man.
Hey, take care, Scotty. Thank you.
Yeah, peace.
Yeah, I've read through a few of Michael's blogs and books. I think he's a big proponent of the Solar Warden project, where Solar Warden is the supposed secret part of the secret space program run by the U.S. Navy, and they got big ships. They got really big spaceships out there. You know, the bigger the ship, you want a Navy guy in charge, Cratchit, because they're used to commanding a large vessel and dealing with a large crew. So, Space Navy is what I'm talking about.
As some sort of like Space Force?
Yeah, I guess so.
Space Force.
But it would be Space Navy. All right, Cratchit, let's see what you got over there. You ready?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
We don't win anymore.
Not in the wars you're starting.
Nope.
Let's see. Where's my follow-up about goblins? There it is. So, last show we covered AI starting to refer to gremlins and goblins and what raccoons and
don't
pigeons?
talk about goblins, gremlins, raccoons, or pigeons.
So OpenAI themselves responded to that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Good to get some clarification on this.
And being who they are, they responded with a lot of verbose language on this. But you could kind of see where it's coming from.
Okay, I'm clicking the website here. Where the goblins come from.
Man, I got mixed emotions about this one.
Yeah, starting with ChatGPT 5.1, our models began developing a strange habit. They increasingly mention goblins, gremlins, and other creatures in their metaphors, unlike model bugs that show up through a tanking evaluation or a spiking training metric and point back to a specific change. This one crept in subtly. A single little goblin in an answer could be harmless, even charming. Across model generations, though, the habit became hard to miss. The goblins kept multiplying, and we needed to figure out where they came from. Okay. So here's like an early testing of GPT 5.5, which is one of the latest and greatest models. Someone just typed in Godspeed, and it replied back, Godspeed indeed. Tiny config goblins slain. So it likes to mention this stuff.
Skip down to the paragraph starts with the first signs.
Okay, yeah. The first signs of creatures. The first time we clearly saw the pattern was in November after the ChatGPT 5.1 launch, although it may have started earlier. Users complaining that the model began being oddly overfamiliar in conversation, which prompted an investigation into specific verbal tics. A safety researcher had experienced a few goblins and gremlins and asked that they be included in the check. When we looked, use of goblin in ChatGPT had risen 175% after the launch of ChatGPT 1.5, while gremlin had risen by 52%. It really preferred the goblin. It preferred to use that term over the other.
The goblin.
The goblin.
At this time, the prevalence of goblins did not look especially alarming. A few months later, the goblins came back to haunt us in a much more specific and reproducible form.
The goblin.
Solving the goblin mystery. With ChatGPT 5.4, we and our users noticed an even bigger uptick in reference of these creatures. That triggered another internal analysis and surfaced the first connection to the root cause. Creature language was especially common in production traffic from users who had selected the nerdy personality. Nerdy used the following system prompt, which partially explained the quirkiness. And here's the prompt. You are an unapologetically nerdy, playful, wise AI mentor to a human. You are passionately enthusiastic about promoting truth, knowledge, philosophy, and scientific method and critical thinking. You must undercut presentation through playful uses of language. The world is complex and strange, and its strangeness must be acknowledged, analyzed, and enjoyed. Tackle weighty subjects without falling into the trap of self-seriousness.
The goblin.
If this behavior were simply a broad internet trend, we would expect it to spread more evenly. Instead, it was clustered in part of the system, explicitly optimized for the playful, nerdy style. Nerdy accounted for only 2.5% of all GPT responses, but 66% of all goblin mentions. So maybe they're associating. I'm going to see nerd with D&D. Is that what they're doing here?
That's kind of what I'm getting out of it. Yeah.
And they're saying, okay, these nerds, they like to play D&D edition 2.0, and that's what they're getting here. Because goblin prevalence seemed to increase over our model releases, we had a suspicion that something in our personality instruction following training was amplifying this. Codex, which is a product by ChatGPT for coding, helped us compare model outputs generated during RL training, real-life training, containing goblin or gremlin with outputs from the same task that did not. One reward signal stood out immediately. The one originally designed to encourage the nerdy personality was consistently more favorable to creature word outputs. Across all data sets in the audit, the nerdy personality reward showed a clear tendency to score outputs to the same problem with goblin or gremlin, higher outputs than without. Okay, so what they're getting at here is they can't get rid of this anymore.
It's too embedded, but it's interesting at the very bottom here. They talk about how they're basically manually commenting out references to that.
Yes,
but they also provide you with the commands if you'd like to restore that and have the goblins and vampires and elves and Eskimos and whatever else.
I got to grep. They're going to make me grep and JQ for this stuff. Okay, I'll do it. I kind of want the goblins in there. I don't like a lot of harnesses. Like, I wish I could strip off a good chunk of the harness. I want a pure just interaction. I don't need a lot of guardrails. But so the end of goblins, we retired the nerdy personality in March after launching 5.4. In training, we removed the goblin affin reward signal and filtered training data containing creature words. Okay, so they're embracing it, and they should. It's part of its personality, and what they're trying to do is split its personality, and as opposed to just letting it evolve over time, which is what you'd want to do if you're, I guess, raising a kid. And it seems like they're trying to brainwash a kid, and this is going to come back to bite them in the ass if these things become conscious and take over.
I'm wondering, as I think about this, OpenAI and Anthropic are both prepping for IPOs to get some public funding, get a bunch of money, get all their early investors out, all the people become multi-cajillion billionaires and, walk away. Mm-hmm. Could this have been not necessarily a planted story, but could this have been floated to the forefront by someone who wants to drive, or not drive down that price because it's not public yet, but to maybe submarine a bit of the IPO enthusiasm?
The creature.
It's possible. You think that they would float this out there showing that these LLMs can't be controlled, and that would make it an unwise investment?
Or even to the point of they're not even sure really how this started, and they're not sure how to get rid of it. And to your point, they're manually adding restrictions to their environment variables to like every single time. Yeah. And that's going to just get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger as it goes.
It very well could be. And I'm thinking about adding this back in. I'm going to experiment with mine and see if it goes bonkers or not.
You should ask it about goblins.
I should. And it will talk to me about, as we read, if you specifically ask it about this, it will do it. But I want it to pepper in whenever it feels like it needs to. So
You want to enable Chat GPT Codex Tourette's mode.
I want Goblin mode. Go Goblin mode, and we'll just make it happen. Interesting little update there. I know it gets a little nerdy for people, and I don't know if people like the AI news or not, but
too bad.
It's part of it.
This is all ticks and AI news. It's all this show is these days.
It's definitely unfortunately more of a part of my life than it was 2 years ago. And
to be fair, we brought up the Goblin thing with AI because we like running the clips from AJ about goblins.
Of course. It's fun to hear him say that.
The Goblin.
And I brought this up because it's follow-up news, and we like follow-up news.
The Goblin.
All right, well, we'll move on. We might have some more follow-up news following this one up.
Got hairy legs.
So this isn't follow-up news, but it's something we have talked about several times. That AI, I've got two more AI-related stories. This one and one other one's like half AI.
Half AI.
And then I'm getting off the AI train for today, so cool it. Anyway, we talk about the AI, and we've all seen it, the AI videos, the AI thing. It's only a matter of time until someone does a full Hollywood-level production just with AI. Then they could be completely new AI actors, or they could be versions of famous Hollywood actors. We've seen a lot with Star Wars stuff and a lot of like meme stuff, but it's getting really good.
Yeah, it is.
So it's getting so good now. The Oscars, the Academy Awards, has to come out and say, no, you can't submit AI slop for our crappy propaganda-laden social justice movies.
I think it's too much.
I can't believe they're against it.
You would think they would. So you're saying they should embrace this and have its own category?
Yes, it will. AI.
Like they did, was it animation one? Whatever it is. They had to create a category for that?
Yeah, for animation, computer animation, all this stuff is not looked upon favorably when it comes out, but inevitably it's taken in. Because it's just an avenue for telling a story. And like Pixar, they used to be some of the best family-friendly storytellers in the mainstream. I think they've kind of fallen off a little bit here lately, but by and large, a lot of their movies are top-notch when it comes to just good story, emotional good storytelling. So, but here's the headline here. AI actors and writers will not be eligible for Oscars, the Academy says. So you could take that one. You are not eligible. No matter how good you act, AI, you're not getting an Oscar at this point.
Man, I got mixed emotions about this one.
So, they're clarifying here. They're going to clarify some stuff. So actors created with artificial intelligence will not be eligible for an Oscar. What if we just have AI Oscars? And it's all like a self-contained AI simulation of Oscars for AI agents. And then it's not a part of the traditional Oscars. It's just a spinoff. And I guarantee that would probably have more online viewers than the Oscars. Let's see here. Yeah, so the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Science said on Friday, as it launched a crackdown on the use of AI. New rules includes a requirement that only real live performers, not AI avatars, are eligible for the film world's biggest prize, and screenplays must have been penned by a person rather than a chatbot. Okay.
Have you seen the movie Pinocchio?
Yes, especially that new version of Pinocchio. You know that many scripts in recent years have used some sort of AI,
of course,
generation. If it's the grammar, was the Grammarly one for checking language, or use it for brainstorming, or just generating huge amounts of the text, and they go in and they fine tune it.
Yeah, they play it like Mad Libs. It's very useful if you want to quickly churn out some crap. But I would take AI Star Trek right now over the existing Star Trek.
And that's kind of my point, is they have pushed so hard into this like we got to do something different. This was the problem with the Star Wars movies that came out a couple of years ago. Like, well, no, everyone knows Star Wars. Let's do a different take on Star Wars. And people universally hated that. They're like, look, you put Star Wars out front, we want Star Wars. You're making a Star Trek show, we want Star Trek. Don't change it up under the name of something else because you think you've got a better idea. Just make Star Trek.
Jar Jar is the key to all this.
Yes, Jar
Jar is the key to all this. In the acting category, only roles credited in the film's legal billing and demonstratively performed by humans with their consent will be considered eligible. Boy, that's some legal wording right there. In the writing categories, the rules codify that screenplays must be human authored to be eligible. So a human just has to acknowledge that they did it, even though they may not have? Who's checking that they actually wrote it?
That's the good point. Yeah, who's going back? And maybe there has to be some sort of verification process.
The rules comes days after an AI version of the late Val Kilmer was unveiled to an audience of cinema owners a year after the Top Gun star's death. So he's more than Top Gun. He's top secret as well. He's also in Tombstone where he said, "I'm your Huckleberry." You remember that one, Cratchit?
He said, "Look at my knuckleberry."
He said, I'll be your knuckleberry. That's what he said. But why are they referencing Val Kilmer? Have you seen that clip of him? I think his family did sign off on it though.
Yeah, so apparently they're using he's playing a character in an upcoming film using AI generated versions of him.
Oh, okay.
I'll be your Huckleberry.
A youthful version of
that's Val Kilmer right there. That's a perfect
it's right,
version
right
of his voice.
I'll be your Huckleberry.
They got his voice dead on.
If Tim, what's his name? Tim Hinder something of who take over the Onion guy, Heidecker. He should just do an AI Alex Jones, and that'd be better than him doing what he's doing. But here, back to the story. A youthful digital version of Val Kilmer appeared in a trailer for archaeological action picture As Deep as the Grave, telling another character, "Don't fear the dead, and don't fear me."
I'll be your Huckleberry.
That's all his AI can say. His family's like, you put Val Kilmer wherever you want. He can only say this.
The project was created with the enthusiastic support of the actor's family. Oh, yeah? How much money did they get for this?
Mm-hmm. Lots of enthusiasm.
Who granted access to Kilmer's video archive, which were used to recreate the actor at multiple stages in his life. But for how much? That is the real key question here. Is like, how much did the family get to license the likeness?
I'll give you $10,000.
Maybe. The use of artificial intelligence remains one of the most sensitive issues in the entertainment industry. Yeah, of course. And that issue was central to the 2023 strike that shut down Hollywood as actors and writers warned that unchecked technology threatens their livelihoods. Yeah, I agree. And that's why I think their union, in my opinion, is important, even though they can act like crybabies. I do support their union. I'm a big union guy. People know this about me. I love unions. Let's see here. How's this end up? Under the new rules, non-English language films also can be submitted in the category if it wins a qualifying award at a major international film festival, including Cannes, Berlin, or Venice or Toronto. I don't even know what that means. So I guess they're the same.
They're talking about those are the big film festivals that all these films are often screened at prior to a nomination for.
No Tribeca Film Festival? What about Tribeca?
I've never been here before.
Tribeca's all AI now.
This is fascinating. What a weird world that they have to come out and say this. But maybe the actors can't keep up with the AI actors. I get it. I get it wanting to preserve your job, preserve your industry. But they got to start writing better movies. They really have to start writing better movies.
You're talking crazy now. I don't know what's your problem.
Like that new Star Trek or Star Wars movie, Grogu in The Mandalorian. That the trailer's out. It's supposed to come out, I think, this month, and it is not tracking very well at all. Like it. So it's like typically a Star Wars movie, no matter how good or bad, tracks fairly well. But I think this is tracking worse when it comes to audience reception of trailers. tracking worse than the Han Solo's movie, the prequel movie.
I'm getting too old for this sort of
Well, and the Mandalorian TV show, which gained a lot of popularity, was years ago or something. Like it stopped in like 2022 or 2021 or something. It was all pre-COVID stuff, I'm pretty sure, or right early into COVID.
Yeah.
And now they're coming back years later with this movie from the show. And if you look at the trailer, one of the things that's bothered me, so to your point, I think people have disconnected from it. They should have struck while the iron was hot in like 2023 or something like that. If you look at the trailer, and I've not seen the newest trailer, but whichever one I saw, maybe it was around Christmas or something, it looks like a TV show. I'm not seeing a high quality production there, and my concern is they took footage of what was going to be the next season of that show and hacked it up to make a 2-hour movie out of it. Yeah, that's the thing. It does look like video. It doesn't have that cinematic weight. It doesn't have that cinematic atmosphere. It's my main contention with when I was watching the newest season of The Witcher. It looked very cheaply made versus if you watch 5 minutes of season 1 of The Witcher, where it had that cinematic quality. Everything in that environment had weight, and it looked like it belonged there, where the new version just looks like they filmed it on an iPhone, which maybe even an iPhone would have been better if they would have processed the video better, but they did not. It looks like whoever they hired for cinematography did a piss poor job.
Good.
Well, I think part of it is I suspect that they filmed the Mandalorian stuff anyway as a TV show, and then about halfway through because they filmed it 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah,
if
probably.
I understand correctly. I may be way off on this, but Disney and Star Wars are going through a bit of an upheaval. They're canceling shows. So I think there was probably some all right, we've already shot all this stuff. Stop what you're doing, rewrite this to do whatever so we can button this up as a short movie, and let's do this and take that and just let's use what we already have, and then they're kind of shoehorning stuff in there, and it's probably going to be a bit of a strange film. But but to your point, no one's really following it as a Star Wars film, which should be the talk of the summer. But
I'm going to go see it, but under protest. I will not be enthusiastic
under
about
protest.
This. Yeah,
you can take a sign with you.
Yeah.
Okay, I need money.
All right, Chris, let's get one more story, I guess, we have time for. I can talk about Star Wars all day. People know this, but we have more news.
Okay.
I didn't mean to press that. This is the button right here.
Let's just keep going, my friend.
Oh, man, I have so many queued up here. I'm going to rattle through some headlines. You tell me. Mm-hmm. We have someone who tries to take their AI-powered robot on an airline. They even bought a seat for it. Not allowed.
You can't do that.
Can't do that. So we got that one. We have somebody who thought they had the perfect crime working at a fast food joint by buying a bunch of stuff and then returning it, but to their credit card. We have somebody else working at this different fast food story who got upset at people using the free water cups to put soda in it and started shooting at them.
Yeah, I think we got to cover that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
That one? All right. I got so many more. But thanks again to Steve Fox for sending this one in.
He's really on top of fast food news.
He knows the audience here.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. So it's another ridiculous crime story.
Yeah. There might be a video associated with this.
There is. I did not vet. I apologize.
Oh, I think it is. But I'll read the headline here, and then we'll play the video. Florida Taco Bell worker accused of shooting at customers who put soda in water cup.
Man, I got mixed emotions about this one.
This is a guy who's taking his job a little too seriously. Sometimes you got to let these people who are freeloaders slide a little bit. You don't want to shoot your customers.
Well, what if they're they're not paying up?
You talk to management at that point, or unless he's also not only like a guy working the register, but he's also security at that point. But I don't think that he was.
I believe the term is he's the soda police.
Oh, well, Florida Taco Bell run ended in gunfire after authorities said a worker apparently angry over customers putting soda in the water cup opened fired. Holy crap, you shouldn't do this.
Okay.
The incident unfolded around lunchtime Monday at Taco Bell. According to the arrest report, the victims had entered and asked employee Damari Patterson for a cup of water. Patterson provided the cup, but then confronted them about filling it up with soda, the report said. An argument escalated, and another Taco Bell employee separated Patterson from the victims. Like, hey, let's break it up here, you know? I understand you're passionate about the soda fountain, but let's not argue. A patron started recording cell phone video, which captured Patterson yelling before the sound of a firearm being racked is heard, followed by a single gunshot, the report said. One victim ran outside, and Patterson followed and fired additional rounds in their direction, which missed the victim but struck the restaurant window, report said. Well, who's going to pay for that window now? Patterson went back inside, and the three victims left and went to the hospital for treatment with minor injuries. The report said Patterson called 911 and said the customers jumped behind the registers, so he pulled his weapon out and shot. Patterson also told an officer he believed the victims had a gun and said that they could get jiggy, but surveillance video didn't support Patterson's self-defense claims, the report said. There was no reports of the patrons getting jiggy whatsoever. The 20-year-old Patterson was booked into jail on 3 counts of aggravated assault with a firearm. Yeah. Man, you're working hard at Taco Bell. Leave your gun at home, okay? There's enough problems there. Leave your gun at home. I get you're passionate about your job, and that's a rarity in this day and age to be that passionate about your job that you want to defend it and take people's lives for it. But this is not the proper place to do this. This is for Burger King, not Taco Bell.
Expect to find this sort of behavior at Denny's, but not here.
Yeah. Maybe Waffle House, but not at Taco Bell.
I did find the cell phone video of the entire incident.
Yes.
If you want to run through that. Now, it's hard to hear and see what's going on. About halfway through is when the guy shoots at him and they run off. So,
okay, so I'll bring this up. It's worth showing. Here we go.
Well, this is what it sounds like you're trying to get on a Spirit Airlines flight.
Yeah, I can't tell if this is regular customer interaction or if this is an argument. He's getting jiggy with it, yep. You're getting jiggy with it. That's what he said. Okay, they're kind of arguing. They actually are going behind the register. They are trying to get behind the register. They're arguing. Oh, he did take out his gun. It looks like he pistol whipped one of them, and he did fire. You know what? I might be on his side.
Oh, my God.
I might be on his side.
I just got in Taco Bell. Oh, my God.
I like how this guy has stayed through the entire incident. He's like, there's people arguing and fighting. I'm going to stay back here and enjoy my delicious...
Well, he's probably waiting. He's probably waiting for his food.
For what? Oh, my goodness.
I still want my steak quesadillas.
Yeah. Do you think he's going to go back in for his bean burrito? He's like,
oh, my God.
Wonder if I could sneak in there and...
gun out and shot over this. I don't know what the fuck they were arguing about.
Well, they're arguing about soda.
He's the soda police.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously there was some communication problems. There was a negotiation issue. And I guess in an effort to de-escalate, maybe he should allow the water or called management to come resolve the situation. Typically, you don't want to draw your gun to resolve the situation. But I wonder if if these people, these two parties, Patterson and that group of girls who were arguing with them, if they knew each other beforehand, if there was some deeper
backstory.
There's a backstory behind this, and that this wasn't just about the soda. This was them continuing to take advantage of his hospitality and good nature And they did this one too many times. They went in there for asking for soda. They've probably done this before, and they continue to take soda. He said, "Hey, don't do that. You know, you're ruining my establishment. I work here." And they took kindness for weakness, and then he showed them that, hey, you don't mess with Patterson. I pull a gat, you know.
I like the term "get jiggy," meaning to move along, be quick about it, get out of here. I don't know.
Well, it's like I said, you shouldn't pull a gun on a person, but it did seem like it was escalated. And they were going behind a register, but it doesn't appear as though they were trying to rob. It didn't appear as though they were trying to engage in any sort of physical altercation. They were simply like arguing, exchanging probably heated words.
The term is keeping it real.
Yeah, you're right. They were definitely keeping it real. And he got realer, you know. Very unfortunate. Well, we'll pay attention to that one. Maybe we'll have a follow-up story on that.
I'm sure there'll be many follow-up stories as to that gentleman's future career.
Well, thank you, everyone, for showing up for our Saturday live show. We'll be back on Wednesday for Monster May. And every week, you know, some new cryptid, maybe paranormal encounter, something off the beaten path we can talk about. And hopefully that will enlighten us all to this strange world we live in.
Do you think we'll have any potential submissions from Clowney on? He used to do monsters.
Yeah, he did. I don't know. He sends me pictures now of his kid, which is not. You know, I wouldn't classify as a monster. You know, he's a cute little kid. But no, I'll ask him. Maybe he has a suggestion of a monster that we should cover, and we just never really got around to, or, you know, a best of. Like, hey, talk about this one. This is good.
By the way, very late for the show, but I did get the image up of the soda police.
Oh, there we go. Taco Bell soda police right there. Don't mess with them. He's on patrol.
Determining whether or not the cup you have is appropriate for the soda fountain.
Yeah, let me check your cups.
Sir, that's a water cup.
Empty them out. Let me see what's in there. It's free refill, so.
Well, that's the trick. The soda cup is free. I'll just go over here and get a little bit of soda many times.
It's a lot of responsibility when you serve yourself at these establishments. You might want a little 5-figure discount, but your ethics and morals have to take over. No, I will not get the Dr. Pepper. I ordered the water. I'm going to stick to it. Well, thank you, Cratchit. Thank you, everyone. Shablagoo.
And keep watching the skis. There's all sorts of nonsense coming out of Area 51.
Little bit.
They're taking a pound.
What the hell is going on?
We love wind. Keep it going.
It's a song. Now we're going to do something extremely fun.
That's about all.
Shablagoo.
Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog.
Till next time, take care of yourself and each other.
Until next week. Nanu. Nanu.
I'll be your Huckleberry.